There is a new arms race happening. It is not fought with missiles and carriers. It is fought with chips, data centers, and electricity. A handful of companies and investors are building a new kind of infrastructure. They call it artificial intelligence. But underneath the hype is something older and more familiar. A complex of money, power, and political influence converging on one industry. Today we are looking at the technology-industrial complex. And why AI is becoming the most expensive bet in history. The technology-industrial complex is the 21st century version of an old pattern. Instead of weapons, it produces artificial intelligence. Instead of defense contractors, it has tech giants. Its core actors are AI labs like OpenAI, Anthropic, Google DeepMind, and xAI, chipmakers like NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, and TSMC. Cloud hyperscalers like Microsoft Azure, Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud, and Oracle. Private investors like SoftBank, venture capital, and private equity. And energy providers racing to power all of it. The product is not just software. It is the physical infrastructure required to run AI at scale. The numbers are unlike anything in recent tech history. Project Stargate is announced at up to $500 billion over several years, with $100 billion immediately. Total AI infrastructure spending in 2026 is estimated between $725 billion and $2.5 trillion, depending on what is counted. Data center vacancy is around 1% for the second straight year. And 92% of capacity under construction is already pre-leased. This is not a normal product cycle. It is a capital-intensive build-out rivaling railroads, electricity grids, and highways. At the center of the build-out is Project Stargate. Stargate LLC is a joint venture between OpenAI, SoftBank, Oracle, and MGX, an Abu Dhabi investment firm. Initial tech partners include NVIDIA, Microsoft, and ARM. The plan is to spend up to $500 billion building AI data centers in the United States by 2029. Key locations include former industrial sites with access to land and power. Piketon, Ohio. A former nuclear enrichment facility. Lordstown, Ohio. A former auto plant. And sites in Texas and other states with available energy. The government is heavily involved through state incentives, federal permitting, and national security framing. AI data centers need massive amounts of electricity. The Department of Energy projects data centers will consume 12% of U.S. electricity by 2028. That is up from about 4% in 2023. A single AI training cluster can use as much power as 100,000 households. To meet this demand, the industry is turning to on-site natural gas generation, nuclear restarts, grid bypasses, and long-term power purchase agreements that lock in supply. Microsoft even agreed to restart a 3-Mile Island reactor unit specifically to power AI data centers. The technology-industrial complex is not just a tech story. It is reshaping the U.S. power grid and locking in energy commitments for decades. The most important thing to understand about the technology-industrial complex is how concentrated it is. The AI build-out is being led by a handful of companies and individuals. OpenAI and Sam Altman are at the center of Stargate and the AI hype cycle. NVIDIA dominates the AI chip market and has reportedly anchored a $500 billion financing push for data centers. Microsoft is OpenAI's major partner and investor, while also building massive Azure capacity. Google, Amazon, and Meta are each committing tens of billions annually. SoftBank and Masayoshi Son are providing enormous capital through Stargate. Oracle and Larry Ellison are providing cloud infrastructure and have close ties to the administration. This concentration matters. When the infrastructure of the future is built by a few players, they set the rules, control the supply, and capture the returns. The same small network keeps appearing across AI, defense, finance, and politics. In June 2026, a leaked registration list exposed the membership of Dialogue, a private retreat society co-founded by Peter Thiel. The list included leaders from artificial intelligence, defense technology, finance and regulation, and the Trump administration. The same people and organizations sit at the center of AI infrastructure through Stargate and OpenAI, defense technology through Anduril and Palantir, finance and regulation through Treasury, the Fed, and the SEC, and political influence through the administration and key senators. This does not prove coordination. It does show dense overlap between the technology, military, and financial complexes. When the same individuals move between leadership roles in all three, the boundaries between the complexes blur. Ohio has become a physical convergence point for the technology and military-industrial complexes. Anduril Arsenal 1, near Columbus, is manufacturing autonomous weapons. Stargate Piketon is building an AI data center at a former nuclear enrichment site. Stargate Lordstown is doing the same at a former auto plant. Intel Ohio 1 is a $28 billion chip fabrication facility, though it has been delayed to 2030 or 2031. Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Meta are all building data centers in central Ohio. And natural gas power plants are being built to feed all of it. J.D. Vance, Ohio senator and Trump's running mate, is connected to Peter Thiel, who funded both Anduril and Vance's rise. This is not proof of corruption. It is a documented network of financial, technological, and political relationships converging in one state. Serious analysts are divided on whether this is the next internet or the next railroad bubble. The bull case says AI will transform productivity, science, medicine, and warfare. The build-out is necessary infrastructure. Demand is real and growing. The bear case says too much capital is chasing too little proven revenue. Data centers are being built on speculation. Many AI applications are not profitable. A default wave could hit lenders and chipmakers. And Nvidia's financial guarantees create wrong-way risk. What emerged in mid-2026 did not settle the debate. SoftBank's total exposure to OpenAI reportedly climbed to roughly $64.6 billion. SoftBank tried to borrow $6 billion to $10 billion against its OpenAI stake, but lenders were reluctant to treat the paper gains as reliable collateral. Oracle faced credit rating pressure over its aggressive AI infrastructure spending. These signs suggest AI capital markets were becoming strained, even as the build-out continued. The technology-industrial complex is not operating in isolation. It is competing with the military-industrial complex for the same resources. Both require massive federal spending and loose financial conditions. Both draw from the same capital pool, energy grid, and talent base. In early 2026, the administration pushed Stargate and AI infrastructure partly to stay ahead of China. That push coincided with a temporary pause in the Iran war. When AI capital became harder to raise, the war resumed and defense spending became a more reliable destination for money and policy attention. This does not prove that someone flipped a switch. But it does show that these complexes pull from the same pool of money and attention. When one sector shows stress, incentives shift toward the other. The AI build-out is being supported by public money and public resources. State and local governments are offering tax breaks, cheap land, water rights, and fast-tracked permits to attract data centers. Federal agencies are under pressure to approve energy projects and streamline regulations. The justification is national competitiveness and security. But the returns will flow largely to private companies and investors. This is the same pattern seen in defense, finance, and energy. Socialize the risk. Privatize the reward. The public helps build it. The few capture the upside. The technology-industrial complex is reshaping the economy in real time. It is building physical infrastructure that will last for decades. It is consuming a growing share of national electricity. It is concentrating power in a handful of companies and individuals. It is intertwined with defense, finance, and politics. And it is being sold as the future of everything. Whether or not AI delivers on its promises, the build-out itself has already changed capital flows, energy planning, and geopolitical strategy. The question is not just whether AI works. The question is who controls it. Who pays for it? And who benefits when it does? In the next video we pull back even further. We connect the financial-industrial complex, the military-industrial complex, and the technology-industrial complex. 3 machines. 1 pool of capital. And a country caught in the middle. Subscribe and hit the bell. This is Boone. Thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you want a deep dive on anything we covered, leave it in the comments. It is greatly appreciated and helps support us to keep bringing this kind of content.